that the user fee is not refundable, but also that it's not transferable. There have been a couple of occasions over the years where we get a request, well, can I apply, my son's gonna quit soccer this fall, but he's gonna play hockey in the winter, can we, he didn't really play a lot of soccer, can we apply it to the next season? That becomes a little problematic. And also, sometimes we get a question around, can it be applied for a sibling? I think the spirit of the user fee is that that's not allowed. So it would just be helpful to have some language in there for myself, the athletic director, and the athletic director's secretary to point to say early on that it's not refundable and it's not transferable.
We
Now,
actually discussed
again-
this at the
Yes.
athletic subcommittee, and we were in agreement with this. And as you see at the bottom,
Yeah.
the last sentence, it gives, John the opportunity to review extenuating circumstances.
Back to the point of just a
Right.
minute ago, we do use those kinds, and there are gonna be, I think it's important to have the ability to say, well, maybe I know something that happened and this is a reason why.
Like the kid that got injured the day,
Something,
Right.
first
could be
day.
something
day,
like,
right,
that's an
exactly.
example, yeah, yeah.
So,
And it also should be pointed out, if students are trying out for teams, that there are cuts made, the student, if they get cut and don't go on to another sport, they can also get the fee
The cut is different, yes,
reimbursed if
right.
they're cut from a varsity team or a JV team, if there's too many players.
And that is it.
that's it. Okay, any further comments or questions from the committee? Superintendent, anything?
I have no questions. I
Okay.
recommend.
We're gonna need a vote to approve.
With that one edit.
I'm not making the motion, but I would certainly like to see that edit as recommended by John.
Yes.
I will make a motion to approve the changes to the North Reading High School handbook for the 2011-2012 school year, with one edit on page 41, to change the word will to may, which is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sentences from the bottom of the page. So it reads school,
6 lines.
6 lines from the bottom of the page, excuse me. Change will to may.
Okay, we have motion by Mr. Webster,
Second.
second by Ms. Ericetti. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, none, motion
No.
carries. No?
Oh,
We have one, no, motion carries by a vote of 4-1. John was really hoping to get a 5-0.
Very good.
I don't think John's ever got,
will.
he's never gotten a majority of 5-0, I don't think on his.
Keep trying.
Usually because of you, Jerry.
I know.
Yeah, thanks, John.
Thank
Good
you,
job.
John, thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
All right, we're going to revert
Where are we?
back to continued business, and we're gonna take a look at the policy review. We have 2 policies, both of which are here for second reading. The first one is GBRIG, the Family Medical Leave Policy. And we had a prior reading, approval, first reading. So I'm gonna look for a motion. We do not have to read it again. If anybody has any questions or comments on it, certainly they can make them. Mel?
Before we make a motion, I just want to commend the policy subcommittee and the superintendent for getting this policy written and getting it into our policy manual. We should have had it there long ago, and
Yeah.
I think it's a great move to get this into the policy manual, and we're also negotiating it with each of the unions that,
And it's a good start to have it in the manual to do
Right,
that,
right.
obviously. But I think, great work. I mean, the policy
Fantastic.
subcommittee's done a lot of work in the last year, so,
Very productive.
very
I think,
productive.
I think a lot of that
Right,
credit
yeah,
needs to go to
Sally.
Kathleen for this particular policy.
It's not me. You've
She
been
led
taking
the
them on
effort.
policy
You-
committee.
it's
Yeah,
Cliff
that's right,
and
you're not-
Michael.
That's
Cliff
right.
and
But you do
Michael.
have
I'm getting
influence.
credit for
To give credit where credit is due.
Cliff and Mike.
where credit is
Yeah,
due.
exactly.
We have a new
Oh, yeah.
superintendent.
Okay, so then I'll make a motion to approve the family medical leave policy.
Okay.
GBRIG,
And we,
G-break.
G-break.
we need a second.
Second.
Okay, motion by Ms. Ericetti, second by Mr. Webster. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving second reading the family medical leave policy, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries by a vote of 5-0. We also have the final section of policy in section C. And we need, that also is in second reading. We need a vote to approve that in second reading as well.
Move to approve the review and revisions to section C of our policy handbook, general school administration.
Second.
Again, motion by Mr. Webster, second by Ms. Ericetti. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none. Motion carries by a vote of 5-0. Did we circulate the bills?
Yeah.
Yep, we did.
We
Okay.
did.
Para.
we're up to the paraprofessionals contract, and I'm gonna ask the superintendent to summarize that for the committee.
And I'm gonna ask Mr. Webster to please summarize as the, as one of the negotiators.
First, I'd like to thank the superintendent and Ms. Ericetti for all their hard work, as well as, you were on that, weren't you, Karen? No.
Yeah.
Were you on that committee?
I'm gonna so throw
There you
you
go.
with this pen.
I don't think she's doing anything. No, go ahead.
As well as our Director of Pupil Personnel Services, I always
Correct.
forget Patty's title, who also was involved. I'd also like to thank the paraprofessionals group and their representative. We worked a lot of hours, and there was a great deal of negotiation, but in the end, I think they came to the table and they made some concessions, and I think we have ourselves a good contract. The cost of living increases for the paraprofessionals will be 1.75% per year for each of the next 3 years. In terms of them coming to the table to us, they now have a cap on the number of sick days they can accrue, which is 200. Previously, there was no cap, it was unlimited. For all new employees, we reduced the total number of vacation days to 13. And that's after 5 years. Previously, it was 17. And that will, beginning next year, when we hire new employees, will result in significant savings. We've also reduced the sick day buyback for all new employees, and that will be 20% of the employees per diem rate up to a maximum of 150 days for all employees hired after June 30th, 2011. There were some other minor things that we discussed, but I think those are the
Anything else?
points. And I believe that, did they approve this,
They ratified.
They
They've already
ratified.
ratified, so it's up to us to approve and sign that.
And we have 2 copies for your signature tonight,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
So Karen, I'll give you the honor of making the motion since it was your
You do
first
anything with this,
contract
Phil?
negotiation.
Of course I
Okay,
did, all right,
make
no.
mo-
And
No,
also,
no, come on.
Karen, also, if you want to add anything, being part of the process
No,
also.
I do wanna extend my appreciation to the paraprofessional negotiating team. They were all there pretty much every single time, and really, it was a thoughtful process and a very respectful one. So I think it also sets a precedent for our future work with all of our unions going forward, particularly in a time of very uncertain economics. And I think that really, it speaks volumes that they came to the table in the way that they did, and as quickly as they did. We are here in June, not much later, and we are, on the brink of signing our contract. So I do appreciate that. I also appreciate our team, and also specifically for Mel for mentoring me through my first union negotiation. Which
Wasn't it fun?
It was fabulous, and I learned quite a bit from it. So with that, I would like to make a motion to approve the paraprofessionals contract for 3 years. I don't have to recite the terms, do
No,
I? Okay.
terms as contained
As
in
the
the
terms that
agreement.
were described by Mr. Webster.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Ericetti and a second by Mr. Webster to approve the 3-year paraprofessional contract. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none. Motion carries by a vote of 5-0. Congratulations again, that's a great job. Get it done too before July 1st. All right, we do have another contractual matter that we need to discuss that's not on the agenda, but we want to get this done before July 1st as well, and that's the superintendent's contract. This year, we did for the first time, thanks to the evaluation committee.
And I was on that, just so you know.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Okay.
ask Cliff.
We did Cliff and Karen, we did a very, very thorough and detailed evaluation of the superintendent. I think the results were very positive. Her contract does require a discussion regarding salary. She does currently have a 3-year contract. We're at the end of that first year, but it does require discussion of salary for each subsequent year. So we have discussed it, and I think there's a consensus amongst the committee that we would give the superintendent for the next fiscal year a 1.75% increase in salary, consistent with our other collective bargaining agreements. In addition to that, there is we are willing to add a provision that the superintendent may buy back up to 10 vacation days only in the first year, which ends June 30th, only for the first year of her contract. That's a theme common to other administrators in the district.
I believe didn't we just add that to the contracts of the other
Get
administrators?
added to the other administrators'
Right.
contract, and
Yes.
It was
I'm
past practice, I
proposing-
think, right.
Yeah, it was, but now it's in the contracts.
Right, it's in
But
the
I'm proposing that
contracts.
we actually add this to the superintendent's contract, even though this will be the last opportunity she'll have to do it, because it's the first year of her
Right.
contract, so. And in addition to that, the committee did discuss extending the contract of the superintendent, the time frame of the contract, again, the monetary value of the contract will be discussed each year, but the time frame of the contract for an additional year, which would bring us through fiscal year, well, it's one additional year beyond the 2 years that are existing on the contract.
Be 2014, right? Through fiscal
2014.
2014.
So it's a one-year extension. So those are the terms that we've discussed. There is absolutely nothing else in that contract that has any monetary value to it all. There are no sick leave buybacks, nothing else. So I'm gonna ask one of the committee members to make a motion to approve the changes in the superintendent's contract, including the salary increase.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Bowers,
A second.
second by Mr. Webster. Any further discussion from any of the committee members?
I'd like to say, I think extending, if I had my way, I'd extend it about 10 years. So then we.
I'm glad you're not signing like Manny Ramirez again.
No, I'm just saying, I think that, no, I'll just say, I think the energy level that Kathy has brought to this district and the commitment, we all know how many hours, those of us who work with David Troughton know how many hours he worked, and he was everywhere. And I honestly didn't think another superintendent could duplicate that performance, but Kathy's everywhere. She's in fact maybe even more places, because she gets out through the community a lot, in the schools, and I see her at track meets when I'm guarding the gate at the track meet, and she's there with the principal, and I'm extremely pleased that we can extend it 1 year, and I wish we could.
Well, I agree, and I always thought it was remarkable with David Troughton that he was here every night of the week till 9 o'clock, till I found out he didn't come in till 4. So I think that, everything you've got to put into perspective. But no, I like it. But
don't let those secrets out.
I agree. Obviously, the superintendent had a great evaluation. I know she's committed to the district, and we're showing some commitment to her by extending the contract for 1 year, if in fact we vote for that. So we have a motion. We have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none. Motion carries by a vote of 5-0.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Meeting dates. We have a whole year's worth of meeting dates in advance here. Wow, we can really.
See, that's
plan
what
our
I mean.
calendars. Jeez.
Could you give us 4 years of meeting dates? 3 years of meeting dates now that you're here for 3 more years?
In your packet, you can see that I've laid out the dates for next school year. Of course, they happen on Mondays. We're still following the second and fourth Monday of the month as the meeting date, if that's the committee's desire.
Anybody objection to that, by the way? from the committee? No? Okay.
October 10th is Columbus Day, therefore, we have our second October the second of 3, on Tuesday, October 11th. And I know that you would like to continue to visit schools unless you tell me otherwise. If you would like to continue to visit schools and move the school committee meetings from one school to the next, I will work on that with the principals in August at our administrative council
I think
meeting.
we definitely ought to do that, and I think the format you asked them to work toward this year, which was a 30-minute presentation. I think last year, it was great to see all the stuff that we saw, but some of them ran quite long, and I think you can do a lot in 30 minutes, and I think the principals did a good job this year, so I think we gotta continue doing that.
I'm in agreement. I think we should continue to move around, and maybe even, well, I won't say more than once, but at least once, hit the others, hit all the schools, yeah.
And as you can see, we've included a potential budget hearing date already, and as well as the 2 town meetings. And we'll continue to present the school improvement plans in the spring for the following school year. So we'll fill this in and get it up on the website.
And the only question, because we don't have those dates, obviously we'll be adding dates for special town meetings for the school project.
Right.
And the other thing I'm wondering is if, I know this is an SSBC project, but is it the school committee's responsibility to schedule public forums on the new project at some point.
I think we certainly have the authority to do
I
it.
think we
and
ought
I think
to-
we need
ought
to
to-
coordinate that, we need to coordinate that with the secondary school building
Right,
committee.
but we
just
ought to
make
build
sure
that
we're on
into the
same page.
schedule as soon as we have firmer dates, build that into the schedule, a couple of